Good morning. It is 11 o'clock. This is 9 News at 11, and we're going to begin with some breaking news. A grand jury has indicted an Aurora police officer for shooting and killing Rajon Belt-Stubblefield. This press conference is happening right now. We have a crew there. This happened last August. It was a traffic stop that went terribly wrong. By now, you've seen the video. An officer moves up to the car that Stubblefield is in. He's in there with his son. Stubblefield eventually gets out of the car. The video then shows an altercation. Eventually, Stubblefield is shot. This happened last August following this traffic stop on 6th Avenue and Billings. Right now, the district attorney is giving an important update in the case, and we're going to go to that. This is an indictment, and this officer will now face charges. There's been an awful lot of outrage in the community since the night of this shooting. People calling for the police officer to be charged. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump has come in to the area, been leading the family's response to this, at least publicly. He has called for the officer to be charged, and now it looks like today that is what is happening. We have the indictment here with us that was released to the media. Basically, what an indictment does is it lays out exactly what the attorneys in the case are charging. And it goes through the events of that day, and it says what they're charging, why they're charging it. We don't know if they're going to take questions from the media today, but that is what a press conference is about. In situations like this, the prosecutor will get up, they will issue the charges, and then take questions from reporters. So we hope they do that. You're seeing some of the video I was describing. I think we have the connection now. Let's listen into the news conference.
Communications and Public Information Officer for the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, which as of January 2025 covers Arapahoe County, Colorado only. Joining me here today, on my right is elected District Attorney Amy Padden, and to my left is Assistant District Attorney Ryan Brackley. Before I invite District Attorney Amy Padden to the podium, I do have a few brief announcements. As with all pending criminal cases in Colorado, our prosecutors are bound by the Colorado Rules of Professional Conduct. Publicly discuss pre-trial. Accordingly, to comply with Rule 3.6 and 3.8, we will not be able to take any questions, but we do have a prepared statement to read to you today. At the conclusion of the briefing, if you have clarification questions or need further context about bond, applicable statutes, and charging information, you can call or email me and I will respond accordingly, but keep in mind, I am required to follow Rules 3.6 and 3.8. With that, I'd like to invite District Attorney Amy Padden to the podium.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. I'm here to announce the 18th Judicial District Grand Jury has returned an indictment charging Aurora Police Officer Matthew Neely in connection with the August 30th, 2025 death of 37-year-old Rajon Belt-Stubblefield. The grand jury returned a true bill charging Mr. Neely with 1 count of Class 2 felony and 1 count of manslaughter, a Class 4 felony. After reviewing the evidence presented during the grand jury proceedings, the grand jury determined that there was probable cause to support these criminal charges. As with every criminal case, the filing of charges is not a determination of guilt. Mr. Neely is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. This indictment follows a thorough, months-long investigation conducted by the 18th Judicial District Critical Incident Response Team, sometimes referred to as CIRT. CIRT is a multidisciplinary team responsible for independently investigating officer-involved shootings and other critical use of force incidents that occur within Arapahoe County. After completing its investigation, the team presented the evidence to my office. Following a comprehensive review of the evidence and after consulting with experts in police use of force tactics and operations, I presented the case to the grand jury, which ultimately returned this indictment. An arrest warrant was issued on Friday afternoon. Mr. Neely surrendered over the weekend and a since posted bond, which the court had set in the amount of $200,000 cash or surety. The indictment is now unsealed, and the next court appearance is scheduled for August 17th. Because this case is now pending before the court, my office is ethically prohibited from discussing the evidence or commenting further on the facts of the case outside of the judicial process. We remain committed to ensuring that every case is handled fairly, impartially, and in accordance with the law. All publicly available court records now and in the future may be requested through the Aurora County District Court's Clerk's Office. Thank you.
Okay, that was DA Amy Patton, and basically she read a statement. No questions, not really a news conference, just a statement. So we didn't get to ask many of the questions we have in this case. So as we do in times like this, we turn to experts. We have a legal analyst, Scott Robinson, who you've seen on air for quite some time here at 9 News. He joins me now. Okay, so I know that you've seen a lot of those. You've been to them.
Sure.
I've been to them all over the country with different DAs, and they usually take questions from reporters. She didn't this time, and that's okay. But let me just start by, why do you think it was just a written, a read statement and no questions? I know she said she can't get into certain stuff, but
Yeah, that's a tough call for a prosecutor. They don't want to go into the facts and prejudice the jury, but on the other hand, the public would like to know some details if possible. One of the things that makes it more appropriate in this case is there's been so much publicity about it. We know the basic facts. We've all seen the video, so we can essentially judge for ourselves whether it was a justified shooting, and a grand jury has determined it was not.
so this is interesting because, you've heard the old adage, grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. So there is an indictment, then there's a trial, if it gets to trial. And those are two different burdens of proof, on the prosecutor in this case. The video that we're seeing, and for our viewers, if you want to be refreshed on this happened last August 30th. Oh yeah, let's get that on you, sorry. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, we're just going to fix a microphone here. August 30th of last year, this was the traffic stop. That's Officer Neely there, his body-worn camera. You're looking at Stubblefield in the car. This was after a crash. The police tell us, and so does the indictment, that the officer tried to stop Stubblefield in the car. He took off, hit another couple of cars. That's why you see the officer there with his gun drawn. And then Stubblefield gets out of the car, and you've seen what happens from there. It was an altercation that winds up with the officer shooting him 3 times, twice in the chest, once in the head. And the minute this happened, a lot of people were saying, well, why did he have to use that kind of force? The law enforcement community will tell you, what Stubblefield did was aggressive, got out of his car. You never want to get out of your car on a traffic stop and put up his hands like he was going to fight at some point. But then there's a whole group of folks who say, well, why don't police shoot a warning shot or do something else? Now, we know from being on this side of the business, police never fire a warning shot because they could hit, a bystander. But why do you think there are other less lethal forms that this officer could have chosen? Why didn't he hit him with a taser? Why didn't he break out his stick or something like that?
The facts we got, and I don't know how accurate they are, but they include the fact that he didn't have a taser with him. What he had was pepper spray. And he was worried, at least according to the officer, that it would incapacitate him as well as Belt-Stubblefield. It's always hard to second guess an officer's actions. Certainly, there was aggression towards the officer. There may have been a way to step back and use pepper spray, but the officer obviously had problems handling his gun as well. It is standard police protocol that you don't shoot warning shots.
Correct.
And so that's not on the table, but it did seem like there was a way to avoid a fatal shooting. It's ironic that literally the first thing Belt-Stubblefield said when he stepped out of the car was, "Don't shoot me."
Yeah.
That shows a recognition of the danger that faced him, which he apparently decided to ignore by putting up his fists and acting like a boxer.
All right, so 1 count of murder in the second degree count 2 is manslaughter.
Right.
And this will now go to a jury. Scott, thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate it. And we have a statement from Aurora Police on this indictment. Police say they respect the judicial process and that it would be inappropriate to comment on the merits of this particular case, Scott, as you just pointed out. But in a statement, Chief Todd Chamberlain said police officers are routinely called on to address sometimes in seconds dangerous and rapidly evolving situations they did not create. I am confident that all the facts will be fully examined through due process. As with any case, these filing charges are not a determination of guilt. The family also shared a statement saying today that it is an important day for justice and accountability. They say this is a day of hope to get justice for Rajon. His family is planning to speak today at noon. We plan to carry that news conference for you live here on 9 News.